The cafe was boiling hot. I felt the heat penetrate the fabric of my old jeans and burn the skin on my leg. But the physical pain was nothing compared to the loud laughter I heard behind my back. A laugh I knew too well. A laugh that had haunted my nightmares for the last 2 years. "Oops, sorry, I didn't see you," said a shrill voice full of fake innocence. "You're so insignificant that it's easy to trip over you like you're part of the airport trash." I turned around slowly, ignoring the burning on my thigh. We were in Terminal 4 of the international airport, surrounded by hundreds of hurried travelers. But at that moment, the world stopped. Standing in front of me was Camila, the woman for whom my husband had left me. She wore a synthetic fur coat, though she swore it was real, designer sunglasses indoors, and dragged a luxury suitcase that probably cost more than the car I drove when I was married. Beside her, holding her bag like a lapdog, was he, Diego, my ex-husband, the man I had given 10 years of my life, my savings, and my youth, only for him to leave me for his 24-year-old secretary the day his company started making money. Diego looked at me not with pity or guilt, but with embarrassment. "Are you talking to me?" Diego asked, scanning my clothes. Comfortable jeans, a simple white t-shirt, and sneakers. No jewelry, no makeup. "What are you doing here? Are you working as a cleaner at the airport?" Camila let out a loud cackle that made several people turn around. "Of course, my love. Look at her. What else could she work as? She's probably waiting to clean the VIP lounge bathrooms." Camila stepped closer, invading my personal space. "Hey, if you need a coin, let me know. I don't like touching loose change, but I can throw it on the floor for you to pick up." I clenched my fists. I felt my nails digging into my palms. They saw Elena, the boring, unambitious ex-wife. They saw the woman in simple clothes. They saw the victim. What Diego and Camila didn't know, what their arrogance prevented them from seeing, was that I was not there to clean bathrooms. I was not there to fly economy class either. I was there because I had just closed the acquisition of the airline they were about to board. My name is Elena Vargas, and although Diego thought I was just an accountant when we got married, the truth is I am the sole heiress of the Castillo Group, one of the largest transportation conglomerates in Europe. I hid my identity to find real love. I found a traitor instead. And today, fate had placed them in my path right before my private jet landed. Before I tell you how I destroyed their egos and left them stranded on the ground while I touched the sky, I need to ask you a favor. If you've ever been underestimated because of your appearance, or if you believe humility is the true wealth, hit like on this video right now. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. What is about to happen in this terminal is the definition of divine justice. Believe me, you don't want to miss the look on Diego's face when he sees the registration number of my plane. "I don't work here, Diego," I said, keeping my voice calm. "My father always said, the one who gets angry loses. I'm traveling. I have business in New York." Diego laughed. It was a dry, contemptuous laugh. "You have business in New York? Elena, please. When we were married you were afraid to order pizza over the phone. What are you going to do there? Sell crafts?" "Leave her, Diego," Camila intervened, fanning herself with her passport. "She probably won a raffle or something. Or maybe she's going as a nanny for some rich family. We, on the other hand, are going to the business gala at the World Trade Center. Diego is closing $1 million deal. First class, of course." Camila pulled out their tickets and waved them in my face. "Look, darling, priority lounge access, unlimited champagne, things you only see in movies." "Congratulations," I said dryly. "I hope you enjoy the flight." I tried to turn around and walk away. I didn't want to waste my energy on them. My pilot, Captain Harris, should be arriving to pick me up. But Camila was not done. Stealing my husband was not enough. She needed to crush me to feel safe. Camila stretched her foot and hooked my small carry-on suitcase. The suitcase fell and opened. Inside were not expensive clothes, but documents and blue folders with the Castillo Aviation logo. But they didn't notice the logos. They only saw that there were no designer clothes. "Oops, how clumsy of me," Camila exclaimed. "But look at that, Diego. She doesn't even have a decent suitcase. The zipper is broken. How embarrassing. Imagine people seeing you with her. They would think your company is failing." Diego looked around, worried about his image. "Elena, pick that up quickly. You're blocking the way. You look pathetic. Honestly, I'm glad I signed the divorce papers. Camila is a woman who knows her place. You were always so grey." I bent down to pick up my papers. While doing so, I saw Diego's shoes, Italian shoes I had bought with my accountant's salary for his first important interview years ago. He didn't even remember. Grey, I murmured, closing the suitcase. Diego, I built you. I did your balance sheets. I told you where to invest. You are what you are thanks to my brain. Don't you dare, Diego shouted, losing his composure. I made myself. You were a burden. Always saving. Always afraid to spend. Look at me now. I'm going to New York to sign with the Castillo Group. I'm going to become a partner with the owners of the skies. I stopped. I froze for a second and then had to bite the inside of my cheek to stop from laughing. He was going to sign with the Castillo Group. He was going to sign with me. I stood up slowly. Are you meeting with the CEO of Castillo? I asked, pretending innocence. Yes, Diego said, puffed up with pride. They have a mysterious CEO no one knows. They say she's an iron woman. I'm going to convince her to invest in my consulting firm. Camila helped me choose the suit. We're going to impress her. I'm sure you will, I said, looking at Camila's excessive cleavage. I'm sure you'll impress her much more than you think. Definitely, Camila spat. You look pathetic. You should go to the economy line. I think Group 5, the poor people, are already boarding. Run before they take your spot for that broken suitcase. At that moment, the airport speakers announced. Attention passengers of Flight 405 to New York. We inform you that the flight is delayed by 4 hours due to technical problems with the aircraft. We apologize for the inconvenience. Diego's face collapsed. What? I have the meeting at 6 in the evening. If we arrive late, I lose the contract. Camila started shouting into the air. This is unacceptable. We are VIP. I demand another plane. People around us began to complain. Chaos took over the terminal. Diego was frantic, pulling out his phone and yelling at his assistant. Get me another flight. I don't care how much it costs. I have to be in New York today. I stood there calmly, observing his desperation. Seems money can't buy punctuality. Diego, I said softly. Diego turned to me, red with anger. Shut up. You have nothing to lose. I'm about to lose the contract of my life. Get out of my sight. You bring me bad luck. Camila pushed me with her shoulder. Out of here, Jinx. Go to your flying bus. I was about to answer them, to tell them exactly who I was, when the noise of the crowd decreased. A strange silence formed in the central hallway of the terminal. 4 men were walking toward us. They were not passengers. They were not airport security. They were pilots, but not ordinary commercial pilots. They wore impeccable navy blue uniforms with golden insignias, perfectly aligned caps, and walked with military precision. The one in front, a tall man about 50 with distinguished grey hair, had 4 golden stripes on his shoulder. The captain. People stepped aside as they passed. They emanated authority and luxury. Camila saw them and elbowed Diego. Look, Diego, those must be the pilots of our plane. Go yell at them. Tell them who we are. Diego, in his arrogance, stood in the middle of the hallway blocking the pilot's path. Hey, you, Diego shouted. I'm a first-class passenger. I demand to know why my flight is delayed. I have a meeting with the Castillo Group and if I don't arrive, I'll sue all of you. The captain stopped. He looked at him with icy calm, lowering his gaze toward Diego over his aviator glasses. Sir, the captain said in a deep voice, we are not pilots of the commercial airline. Please step aside. I won't, Diego insisted, pointing at his watch. I'm an important man. The captain made a discreet signal and 2 co-pilots gently but firmly moved Diego aside like a misplaced piece of furniture. Excuse us, the captain said. Diego stood there with his mouth open, indignant. Camila was about to start shouting insults. The captain continued walking. He passed Diego, he passed Camila, and he stopped right in front of me. The silence in that area of the terminal was absolute. Diego was staring at me. Camila was staring at me. Curious passengers were staring at me. I was there in my jeans and my coffee-stained broken suitcase. The captain removed his cap, placed it under his arm, and bowed in a respectful, almost military gesture. Good afternoon, Mrs. Vargas, the captain said in a clear and powerful voice. I am Captain Harris. The Wolfstream G700 is ready on the runway with engines running and the flight plan to New York approved. Sorry for the 5-minute delay. We had to coordinate a priority takeoff slot to avoid commercial traffic. My name echoed in the air. Vargas. I saw the exact moment Diego's soul left his body. His eyes widened so much I thought they would pop out. His mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. Camila dropped her bag. It hit the floor with a dull thud. What did he call you? Camila whispered. I ignored Camila. I smiled at the captain. Thank you, Captain Harris. Don't worry about the delay. I had a small incident with coffee and unpleasant company. Would you like us to call security to escort you? Ma'am, the captain asked, glancing sideways at Diego with disapproval. Or would you prefer us to handle it? Not necessary, I said. I can walk. The captain snapped his fingers and one of the co-pilots took my broken suitcase with the same care as if it were the crown jewels. Another took out a cream cashmere coat from a bag and offered it to cover the coffee stain on my pants. I put on the coat. Instantly I stopped looking like the humble woman. I stood tall. My posture changed. I was no longer Elena, the sad ex-wife. I was Elena Vargas, the owner. I turned toward Diego and Camila. They were pale, motionless, like wax statues melting under the sun. Elena. Diego's voice was a thread. Vargas. How? Like the Castillo Group? I took a step toward him. Not like the Castillo Group. Diego. The Castillo Group is my father's surname and now my company. But you were an accountant. We lived in a rented apartment. Diego was hyperventilating. You counted discount coupons. I wanted to know if you loved me or my money. I said coldly, and I got my answer the day you left with her. Because I was too simple and had no ambition. My ambition, Diego, was to have a real family. Yours was to have a Rolex. Camila tried to intervene, her predator brain trying to save the situation. Elena, darling, she said with a trembling fake smile. What a surprise. I always knew you had something special. Hey, since you're going to New York and our flight is cancelled, don't you have space in your jet? We're family, right? Almost. We could go with you and celebrate. The audacity of this woman had no limits. I laughed. It was a genuine laugh of pure disbelief. Space. Yes, I have space. The G700 has capacity for 19 passengers. King beds. And a shower. It's very comfortable. Diego's eyes lit up with hope. Great, Elena, please, if I don't make the meeting. But I interrupted. The space is reserved for people who don't throw coffee on me and for people who don't sleep with other people's husbands. I stepped closer to Diego, invading his personal space for the last time. And about that meeting in New York with the CEO of Castillo. Diego swallowed hard. Yes, that CEO is me. Diego. Diego's world crumbled in that second. I saw it in his eyes. He understood everything. He understood the meeting was with me. That I had approved the appointment just to watch him crawl. You were going to invest in my company. I was going to evaluate if you had changed. I lied only to hurt him more. I was going to see if you had become a decent man. But I've seen enough here in the terminal. You're still the same arrogant, superficial, and cruel person you've always been. I took out my phone and dialed a number, putting it on speaker. Central office. This is Elena Vargas. Cancel the meeting with Diego Morales at 6 o'clock and put his company Morales Consulting on the blacklist of suppliers. I don't want any plane, train, or ship in our fleet to transport a single package from his clients. Block him globally. No, Diego screamed, falling to his knees in the middle of the terminal. You can't do that. You'll ruin me. It's all I have. You had a wife who loved you and supported you when you were nobody. I said, looking down at him. Now you have no wife, no contract, and from what I see on the departures screen, no flight either. I turned to Camila. And you, enjoy the VIP lounge. I heard the coffee from the machine is free. It's the only thing you'll get from this relationship because Diego just went bankrupt. Camila looked at Diego kneeling and crying, then at me stepping onto the electric cart the captain had brought. I saw the calculation in her eyes. I knew she would leave him before sunrise. Let's go, Captain, I said. Yes, Mrs. Vargas. The cart started. We moved away down the exclusive hallway. I didn't look back, but I could hear Diego's screams and the insults Camila was already throwing at him. You told me she was a nobody. You idiot. You made me waste my time. I boarded my private jet 10 minutes later. The interior smelled of new leather and fresh orchids. I sat in my cream leather armchair, accepted a glass of Dom Perignon from the flight attendant, and looked out the window. I saw the commercial plane at the gate, turned off and broken. I knew Diego was down there, in the hell he had built for himself. The jet accelerated. I felt the force of takeoff, that pressure in my chest telling me I was leaving the ground behind. As we ascended above the clouds, leaving the rain and mediocrity below, I toasted alone, not for revenge, but for freedom. Diego stayed on the ground, trapped in his arrogance. I flew toward my future, finally being who I was always meant to be, Elena Vargas. Owner of my destiny and queen of the skies. Thank you for listening to today's story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next story.